Hi, my name is Gwen Peterson. I'm a certified independent health coach and global director with Optavia. If this is the first time you've stumbled upon my channel, welcome. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos that I will load in the future. And if this video offers you value, please make sure to click the like button. Then I also have a closed group over on Facebook called Gather with Gwen, where I load different tips or support or different things that I might be rolling out, like health and wellness challenges in the future. So make sure to come on over and join that group. Today's video is all about whether or not you have the right coach or if you should change coaches. So I hope that this is a topic that you've questioned in the past, and what I have to say in the video will offer you value and help you reevaluate what you need from your coach and what you need to actually get to your health and wellness goals.
Our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the Optavia community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join Optavia, but please note that they have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider or doctor prior to beginning your journey with Optavia.
Everyone, I wanted to come to you to bring up a topic that I have gotten some feedback from multiple people that they thought would offer value here to you guys. So I get a lot of people reaching out to me saying, Gwen, can I change to you as my coach? My coach, blah, 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 blah. And I know that there's always a discussion of whether or not you could do better with your own health and wellness journey if you had a more interactive coach or a more knowledgeable coach or whatever, right? Well, here's the question that I like to ask people is when somebody comes to me saying, Gwen, would you be my coach because of X, Y, or Z? My first question that I would like to ask you is, what would I do better or different than your coach that you're not getting from them? And so that's my first question I always like to ask, because when somebody thinks they need a different coach, I want to know why they think they need a different coach. So that's my first question. Then the next question is I always say, okay, well, if you think I know more or I would be more following up or interactive, have you told your coach what you need from them? And they always say no. And so here's the thing that I tell them. I'm like, trust me, I'm not a perfect coach either. Some of you might be watching this that are my clients going, yeah, I haven't heard from Gwen in a week or two, right? Or whatever. So, or let's hope not a month or whatever. But I would hope that my clients that I try to stay in touch, but I know when they're kind of taking their foot off the gas. I take my foot off the gas, coaching them until they let me know they're kind of all back in, right? Because me following up every single week or every other week when they're not on plan is almost like, people always say, Gwen, when you keep following up with me, I feel like you're like rubbing my nose in it that I'm not on plan. And I'm like, okay, just reach back out, right? So my thing that I would say to you is, if you ever have questioned whether your success has to do with your coach and the way that they coach, I would then turn that back to you and say, everybody needs to be coached differently. So you get to ask your coach or tell your coach what you need from them. And so, hopefully the coaches are sending you the weekly email. And in the first 8 days, they sent you the daily texts. And then some coaches do send weekly text for the first 12 weeks. Some do for the first 6 weeks. Some Zoom, some do phone. There's not one right way to coach somebody. What I normally try to do is tell that person or ask that person, what do you need from me to be successful? And I would say I don't have one client that I do the same thing with because they're all different. but it's because I've been doing this long enough to know to ask that question. So I would just say, number one, and then when people say, well, I want to change you because of X, Y, and Z. Well, I then say, okay, well, let me ask you, are you doing the work on the program? And I'm not talking the food. The food is not the program. The program is, have you leaned into your coach for support and they actually aren't replying back? That's not normally a yes. They're normally like, well, no, I haven't reached out to them. Okay. Have you leaned into the client support group and asked for support? In our client support group, I saw somebody comment the other day going, I don't know if I can do this. And 20 comments later, they were enveloped in love and support. That's why the community is one of the pillars of our program. And then the third, which I feel is the most important one, which is why I have a whole dang YouTube channel about it, is the mental component. Because I'm gonna tell you, when people reach out to me and say, Gwen, I wanna change to you as a coach because my coach blah, 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 blah. And then I say, well, do you have the life book and the habits of health book? Uh-huh. Have you finished them? No. Well, then why would I take on somebody that's not doing the mental component? Because the mental component that you have to do on your own is the only way you're going to have success. Because the truth is, everybody has different issues mentally of the way we were raised. Like, trust me, I learned how to diet from my mom. My mom became my third client. Lost 60 pounds in 5 months and has kept it off for 8 years. Results not typical. I'll throw the disclaimer in the comments below, but I'm just saying we all have different stuff by the way that we were raised. So for me to try to become a therapist and help the person get to their goal weight when they haven't even cracked the books, that has nothing to do with the coach being interactive or not, because there are a lot of people that say to me, Gwen, I don't really want the support, I have the books, whatever, and they lose 50 pounds in 5 months, results not typical, disclaimer in the bottom, and they don't have me reach out. I just send the weekly email because they're like, I have the resources, I can do the work. So that's where I'm just going to remind you that when we get into that victim, villain, hero triangle that's talked about in Dr. A's Habits of Health book, are you being the victim to your coach not being enough? Well, I was asked the question as we were discussing what coach or client support gets to look like, because everybody does it differently. And I was asked a very specific question. Now, I love my coach, right? But I didn't know those books existed. I didn't even know that there was the mental component back when I did the program. And guess how I did? I lost 45 pounds in 4 months. Results not typical, disclaimer in the bottom. It had nothing to do with her. Did she reach out to me? Yeah, well, we were in the neighborhood together. Was she doing official check-ins? No. Was she sending me a weekly email? No. Did I have those books? No. But because I wanted to change my life, I had the drive. And then as I got to my goal weight, as you guys probably know my story, I had shingles on my eyeball, I went blind, steroids, it was fantastic, right? And then I was like, okay, I have to dive back in again because I was so sick in and out of the hospital. And I dove back into the nutrition, and guess what happened? It wasn't easy the second time, because my head was mad that I'd had this health issue and it sucked and it, I was in that victim triangle spot, the victim of my situation. So I was in the grind and the white knuckling of trying to lose the weight again. And it's frustrating. Blink twice if you had to lose weight twice on this program or more, right? That grind sucks, doesn't it? But you want to know how it doesn't suck? It's not going to be your coach calling you every dang day or every week. It's going to be you working on this. So magically in my life, that's when I was like, what are those books? They exist. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so bad. That's why my YouTube channel started. I had 50 clients and didn't even know that people got the books. Anyhow, that's why your coach is telling you to do the mental component. get on the Monday night Habits of Health calls, dive into your books. If you follow stuff that I teach, I love the Chasing Cupcakes book. I love the Never Binge Again book. I love the journaling that the Life book does, because what I know is you could have a coach that's dialing you every hour. And guess what you're gonna do when you hang up? If you're not fixing this, you're gonna shove another Twinkie in your mouth. So that's why I try to teach my coaches as well. Be there to support your clients, but you can't be everything for them, because they get to do the work. And because I, learned to use food as a reward all growing up. I mean, if I scored a goal at soccer, what did I get? A Slurpee. When I got straight A's, I got to choose the restaurant for dinner. And that's not bad parenting. I'm not blaming my parents for it. But those things that they did, that I did with my kids before understanding food and rewards and all of that I learned in the Habits of Health book, I rewarded my kids with food as well. So those are the things that I have gotten to rewire as well as I've moved forward. But let me ask you, if I hadn't done my own work in that Habits of Health book to understand the victim, villain, hero triangle, and I was the victim every time I'd gain a few pounds because I'd fallen off the wagon, of course I fell off the wagon because I wasn't fixing what was going on in here. And so that's the thing, as I might be beating a dead horse here, but I just want to remind you, number one, if you are struggling, are you doing this? And for those of you guys that follow me, you know that I have done really well with my health and wellness right now. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I have more junk in my brain than I think any of my clients. And so when I decided January 1st of this year that I was going to take my health back, I've had another round of really awesome health stuff, I got to dive in. And so I have a second Life book. It's sitting on my nightstand, and I journaled every night, 5 to 10 minutes a night, worked my way through there. Then I know if we were in a movie and we were like alcoholics together, or let's not hope, if we were heroin addicts, we might be skinny, right? No, that's not funny. But I'm just saying, let's be real. Like alcohol, you gain weight, right? So if we're sitting here and I see Emily's on here. So Emily, you and I are like these alcoholics and we're the friends that love to drink wine together or something. And we're like, we're gonna get sober. And then we start getting sober, then what would we say? We need to get to a meeting. We need to get to a meeting. That's what alcoholics do, or people that go to AA. They use the resources. They might call their sponsor, but they're not going to call their sponsor every time they want to drink. They take accountability and they drag their behind to a meeting. We don't have meetings, but we have a client support group, and you have all sorts of podcasts. So that's where I tell you, at the beginning of the year, I knew I needed to rework this. I powered through the Life book, not fast, I took it a day at a time, but then I made sure to be listening when I woke up every morning to a podcast. So before my feet hit the ground, my phone trails me to the bathroom. It trails me to the kitchen while I'm making my fueling. And by the time I'm done with my first fueling, it's been 30 minutes. I use that window to get a podcast in. But let me tell you, after the excitement of the scale moving slowed down, what do you think started happening? Oh, I still have this much weight to lose. The grind, right? So I knew I needed more than just the one podcast a day and working in the Life book. So there were days that I would flip on a podcast 4 different times to keep me out of my pantry and out of that victim mentality of the fact that I was staring down the barrel of 60 pounds to lose, and I know better than this, and why did I have this health issue and all of that? If I'm resonating with any of you, throw a comment in the chat saying that you are realizing that the mental component is where you're missing, but that's what's going to help you stay the course. And yes, as coaches, we want you to reach out for help, but my thing that I do when my clients are struggling and they're like, Gwen, I'm struggling, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times, if it's a quick thing, I'll respond back. But if they're struggling, I'm not a therapist. I can't get on and talk them off the ledge. I'm not trained in that. So I will say, like, what are you struggling with? And then find a podcast in that topic to send that to them. But let me tell you, the more that I get them into podcasts, guess how much they reach out to me? Not as much, because they know how to fix when they're here without reaching out to me, because they have the resources in their hands and they're reaching out to me with their successes and struggles as well. But they're taking accountability for their health and rewiring that mental component. So I know that this is a little bit long, but I know that this is what some of you probably needed to hear for that shift. Because now, if you have a coach that isn't reaching out to you and you reach out to them and you're like, hey, this is what I need from you, I would hope that they will reach back out to you. If not, reach out to them and say, I need this, and if you're not supporting me, I will go find another coach. You are allowed to change coaches, but I wouldn't suggest that. It's most likely that the coach doesn't know what you need, and if you can communicate to them how much you need support from them, normally they will step up to support you at the level that you need. So throw a comment in the comments if you've stuck with me for this video. It offered you value of what your next steps are with your own mental component. And as I always say in every video that I ever do, the key to success in health and life is just don't quit. So trust me, since I decided to take my health back in January, have I had some pretty rocky hours, days, weekends? Of course I have. But I've made the decision to not quit on my own health and on my own mental component. And that's why I am super close to my goal weight, because I did the grind in here to get my body where it needed to be. Because if I try to shove fuelings in my body, that's not going to get me to my goal weight if this is in the cuckoo brain stage. So hope this helps you guys. Just don't quit and dive into the mental component and let your coach know what you need from them to be successful. Hope you guys are all having a great day. Bye.